Stop for a minute.
And the wind is blowing in my face and it blew all the brains right out of my head. And it's cold.
Hi, I'm Jill.
And I'm John.
And we're the Geezers on the Go.
Go, go, go.
This time we're at Goose Creek State Park in the coastal estuary region of North Carolina. It's where freshwater meets saltwater meets pirates. This was our third trip to one of our favorite state parks. We did a video on the campground 3 years ago, but this time we wanted to show you a few sites that we'd missed. The park's address is technically Washington, North Carolina, but it's much closer to the historical town of Bath, known as the hometown of Blackbeard. The campground has 22 RV sites, all with full hookups, 6 cabins, and a primitive tent area. It covers 1,600 acres of swamps, creeks, and estuaries.
Bath is an early 18th century town that has so much history you practically stumble over it at every turn. Dating back to 1705, it was North Carolina's first incorporated town and first seaport, not to mention a favorite hiding place for pirates. We'll also revisit Washington briefly and take a quick look at a unique facility, the North Carolina Estuarium. And finally, we'll take a hike on the Palmetto Boardwalk Trail. It was all torn up by a hurricane the last 2 times we were here, but now it's all fixed.
Get to see a new part of this trail. We're here again at Goose Creek State Park in Washington, North Carolina, sort of in the middle of the state. We've been here before, but it's been a few years. It's been about 3 years since we were here last time. We're at, this time, it's site number 8. And as you can tell, again, these sites are extremely long, and they all got full hookups. And it's a fairly new park. It's only been open about 5 years or so. But they built it really nice. They thought about big rigs and the new kind of camping with the bigger trailers and motorhomes, but they surrounded it with lots of greenery and brush. The only problem is there's not a lot of trees here, so you don't get much shade, so it's not highly recommended to come in the middle of summer. A couple times we've been here, it's been November, and the weather has been so pleasant. So if you can come in the fall, I think that would be the best suggestion. Not many people here. We've been here about the same time of the year 2 times, but maybe about a week earlier, and there's been more people, maybe everybody going home for Thanksgiving. We'll take a little ride around the park and show you again what it looks like. Like I said, the sites are nice and big. This is site 9, how far it goes back. And I think I like those sites on the outer part of the loop a little bit better because it kind of backs up to all the trees, and there is some trails back there. Over here it is sort of in the middle. You don't have as much, I guess not even privacy, but they're not quite as nice, I don't think. That's number 12. Last time we came, we were at number 14 up here. This one's 13, again nice and long. And I like when we were here about 14 that the next site is very far. The only thing that was bad about this is late in the afternoon, the sun just sort of shone right in the front of your campsite. And there's number 15. Like I said, all this space here in between 14 and the next one down here, we don't have much of any neighbors. And that's 17 over here, and 16 over there has a little teardrop there. So this guy come in just a little while ago. You can tell you can have a pretty big rig, big fifth wheel. And this guy over here, he's got a triple axle. So this guy is huge. And look at his car hardly even gets to the front of the site. So you've got plenty of room. And that's number 19. That's one of my favorite ones. And got number 20. There's about 20 sites here because one of them's the camp host. And then as you come at the end of the loop, there's 6 cabins down here, and they have no facilities inside. They have some beds, and you have a grill. Some of our friends we met from New York are over there. But the cabins again, they have a grill outside, and there's a water spigot outside, and there's a full service bathroom over there, which is really nice. Has nice showers and very big bathrooms. And nobody seems to be here now. It's the middle of the week. Kids are in school. We were here one time on a weekend and they were all full. So even in the late fall they book up. Camp host there at site number 1, and they have wood so you can have for a fire. And right as you come in, there's a really nice trail I've been on. It's called Longleaf Trail. Goes all the way over and around the back of the campground. And I'll show you later in the back there's a cemetery. And there's site number 2. Right now just the bobcat is taken over. Very pretty place. Really nice. That one's a little kind of open more than some of the others. That's number 3. I think the first time we came here we were in site number 4. And just beyond there in the back there's the visitor center. And there's 4 and 5 and 6. And then back to us at number 8.
This is the primitive camping area here at Goose Creek. Just past site number 1. They don't allow any trailers or large vehicles down this road. No RVs allowed, just tents. That's site number 2 right there. That's a pretty good looking tent site there. Yeah, the road's very narrow and a little bumpy. Not too bad, but it's a gravel road, obviously. Site number 5. This is site number 6, I guess, right here. 7. Well, this is one of their little bathhouses. They're small and looks like they're just probably holes in the ground.
Down at the end of the primitive camping area, there's a little, looks like a boat launch area, maybe even a beach. So let's go look. Actually, you could drive in on that road there and come around and then drop your stuff off to this nice little dock over here. This is nicer than down at the regular campground. Yes, it's Goose Creek State Park, and see, we're here. And you could go, that's all that length out there is Goose Creek. You could go out and then it goes out to the Pamlico River down here. It's very pretty. And they have places that you could put your canoe or your kayak. And a nice dock. Place, I guess that's to sit. If you had a campsite down there, you could just roll it right up. And that's actually Goose Creek. I'm guessing in warmer weather, if you moved away some of these sticks that have come up, probably from the last storm we had, you could actually go swimming here. So there's a little bit of a sand beach here. You have to deal with some of the tangled deadheads. If you were at site Lucky 13, this would be a beautiful site because you'd be right here, within easy striking distance of that little dock. And this had nice You have a picnic table and a fire ring and a grill and one of those hangy things. But you could walk right down here to the creek. We'll see what it looks like at the end. Now, isn't this nice? It comes out to a beach and a park bench, and wow. Probably have to be careful with all the dead trees and stuff. But wow, isn't this pretty? Comes all the way, that's Goose Creek, and comes all the way around here, and that's the Pamlico River.
We're on our way out of the park now, or out of the primitive area, and catch a few of the sights on the other side of the road. There's a little water there. You can, I guess, a table. You could wash some dishes if you wanted. And back there you can see a guy. He got a little bit of a box trailer in here. Nice spot. Making lots of smoke. What I like about these tent sites back here is that they're set quite a ways back from the road, so they're nice and big. That's site 6. Anyway, that's pretty much the primitive camping area here at Goose Creek. Goose Creek's one of our favorite places.
Yeah, been here a couple times.
Yeah, and we've actually done a video on this one about 3 years ago.
But we visited a few new places, so we thought we'd give you another look at the park.
Yeah, the funny thing is the park really hasn't changed much.
It's a fairly new park. It's only opened in 2019, so it's one of the newer state parks we've ever been to.
Yeah, and it's got big sites.
And full hookups.
Full hookups.
Couple of cabins.
The sites are level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's hardly any people here, so if you want to come in this time of year, probably is the best time, because if you come in the summer, it'd be way too hot because there's no trees. But there is a little beach here. It's about like 2-3 miles from the campground, and there's also
some trails.
Lots of trails, and they just finally fixed. There was a boardwalk trail that goes out from behind the visitor center that we've been here twice before, and it had been kind of scrunched up from hurricanes and stuff, but now it goes all the way out, so it's all nice and fixed.
It's fixed, yay!
It goes out into the marshlands. But there's a few other things to visit in the area.
Yeah, well, there's 2 cool little towns not far away. There's Washington in one direction, about 10 miles, and then there's Bath in the other direction, about 6 or 7 miles.
Washington is a cool little harbor town. There's lots of shops. It's historical. It's got restaurants. And this time we visited something called an Estuarium. And it sort of talks about how the 3 different types of water come together right here. We have freshwater to brackish to saltwater, all within like a couple miles of each other.
Yeah, I'm not sure Estuarium is even really a word, but it was a cool little place.
Yeah.
And then the town of Bath is pretty historic in itself. It's
was the home to who?
Well, it was the home of Blackbeard.
That's what they say anyway.
Yeah, well, he probably stopped by a few
floated
times.
By one time.
Yeah. But it's the first incorporated town in North Carolina. It's the first port in North Carolina, and they have a lot of historic buildings still in town.
Right, there's a little historic museum and to see what some of the history of the town, so it's a fun place to just stop for a day.
We're headed over the bridge into the little town of Bath now, which is about 6 miles from the campground.
There's the bridge we just came over, crossing the Bath Creek. This is the town again of Bath, which is not that far from the campground, and it said that Edward Teach, who's more known as Blackbeard, lived here in the early 1700s. And this is Bath Creek, and which ends up going out to the Pamlico River and then out to the ocean. And it's a beautiful sight here at Bath. Lots of boats. And we've just parked over here at a little park. It'd be a great place to just sit and have lunch and look out at the water. Nice. It's worth coming over here to see a little history of the town of Bath and through the years, besides the pirates and how they progressed. And this looks like what one of the shops used to look like back in the day with glass. And I bet you that glass came from Jamestown. All that long glass. It says, women were the tavern keepers. Oh, they were the smart ones. That's where the money was. I guess this sort of depicts what a typical household might have looked like back in the 17 and 1800s in Bath. There's a table and there's a bed. And they used to hang up their chairs because they said if you sat them down on the ground, you would be likely to sit and be idle. This cool hutch here dates back from, it says, the 1820s, and you can see how worn it is here and well used and pretty cool. And here's the room paying homage to Blackbeard and his notorious ships and the pirates. And we found out that the high school's nickname, what else could it be but the Pirates? If you go into the visitor center and exhibition hall over there, they'll give you a little map and you can walk around the town or drive through and see some historic buildings, because this was the first town and the first port of North Carolina. And this is called the Vanderveer House. It was built in the late 1700s. This is St. Thomas Church here in Bath, and it was built in 1734. It's supposed to be the oldest church in the Carolinas, and it's still being used for services. And right on Main Street, there's this crazy little curio shop. Well, there's always time for Christmas, no matter what time, although we're only about a month away from Christmas, and people have lots of stuff. I guess we gotta go in and look.
We're headed down the street by the waterfront in Washington, North Carolina, just about 10 miles from the campground. Jill says she doesn't know where she's going, but we're getting there.
Lots of boats. We were here a couple of years ago, so we're gonna go look again. It's a beautiful day in the middle of November, and I want one of each of these big boats out here. This is sort of the main part of Washington. There's lots of shops down here, and you're right by where the marina area is, and you can walk down here. I've bought a few things down in this area. This is called the North Carolina Estuarium, where 3 types of water meet here, from freshwater to brackish water out to the ocean. This sculpture here at the Estuarium represents all of North Carolina, from how the water comes through from the mountains down to the plains over here, then represents down to the bottom where the outer banks are. And it says all this driftwood was built with no screws or no anything. It's just used a natural glue. This little map here with the little lights on it sort of represents where we are from the Tar River up above. It comes down through here, and then we're right about here in Washington. It's where it starts to get a little salty from the Pamlico River, and then out to Pamlico Sound, which is the salt water, which eventually comes out to the Atlantic Ocean. Some cool hands-on exhibits that I think kids would like, and this shows you that there's lots of frogs along the Tar River here, and you press the button and you can hear them talking. We have some more sounds of birds here. Let's press this one. That's a great blue heron.
So that's Mikey, you say?
This is Mikey. She's named after Michelangelo the Ninja Turtle.
Whoa.
So.
Do you have a Donatello and a...
I have a Raphael.
Best buddies, what do you think? This is a cannon they found in this area in 2001, and they think it dates back to somewhere between 1680 and 1700s. We managed to get one of the oldest cannons ever found in North America. In addition to the obvious fishing that was in this area, they said there was also a lot of farming they grew. There's just potatoes and tobacco and cotton and corn and wheat, and the ground was very rich, so they could grow quite a few things to keep them, supplement their diet besides the fish. This is a very comprehensive little museum to go through about all kinds of water and things, and for $5 you surely get your money's worth. Oh, once again I'm headed out to it's called the Palmetto Boardwalk Trail. This looks like a little gathering place if you're having a party or something in a big parking lot. You could park out and wouldn't have to take your stuff too long. Walk. And we're going to get up to the boardwalk part in a bit, so here we go. It's a cool walk through the marshlands out here, and something I read about this area once before is that just changing storms and weather, this was more forested at one time and not so much marsh, but the hurricanes have knocked down trees and made it a little more swampy. So I'm going to give you little signs along the way to tell you what you might see. You might see some deer and raccoons and possums, and so we'll keep on going. Coming out here to this sort of open area that there's some seating, and you get to really check out what the marshland looks like around here. The bogs and the sloughs in here. Many of the state parks have these little kiosks here where they want you to take a picture so that they can regularly check how the scenery or the landscape might be changing. So what you do is you just put your phone on there, take a picture, and then you send it to the address here, and with the number, I guess it tells them where that is, and then you're helping them with some of their research. It looks like they might have fixed this boardwalk, because right about up here is where there was a big stop sign that said you couldn't go any farther because it was destroyed by a hurricane. That was when we were here 3 years ago. And here we are coming around the corner where the last time we were here, this whole part here was all twisted and crazy. I can see some new wood was put here, so we'll keep going. And you can tell all the new wood here for where they fixed it. It's not as gray and brown, it's more yellowish like the wood, which might be pine. Keep on going a little farther. See anything else that we haven't seen before.
I think that just about covers it, Jill. We've seen it all. So let's pack up and head to our next adventure. So long, folks, and as always, we'll see you down the road.
Stop! Stop! Stop!